You ever made an edit, watch it back and think, yeah, this is fire, but then you scroll past someone else's edit that was so good, it makes you question if you should even keep editing? If that sounds familiar, this video is for you, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's holding your edits back and how to fix it. Now, this isn't just a theory. After over 5 years of anime editing, seeing what actually works and helping other editors level up, I've noticed the same mistakes keep coming up again and again. One of the biggest reasons why your edits might not be improving is a simple one: your bias towards your own edits. It makes sense. You know how much effort you put into the edit. You remember all the late nights, tiny tweaks, the hours spent fixing small details. But the viewer, they don't care about that. They only see the final result. And because of that, most editors keep making the same mistakes, thinking their edits are way better than they actually are. So instead of fixing their mistakes, they cope by blaming the algorithm for low views, and their edits stay mid forever. The solution is learning how to step back, detach from your own work, and critique your edits as if you didn't make them. Or, even better, send them to a few friends, ask them for honest feedback, and almost always they'll notice a few things you might have missed. Once you start looking at your edits objectively, you'll realize something else. Sometimes the problem isn't your skill, it's the limitations of the clips you're working with. And that brings me to today's sponsor, Luma AI, which is an AI tool that, when used correctly, can genuinely help take your edits to the next level. Here's why I actually use it. You know when you picture an edit before you even start working on it, but once you start choosing clips, none of them really match what you imagined? That's where Luma AI's Dream Machine comes in. Using the new model, Ray3 Modify, you can modify existing clips to better fit your edit, or even generate new clips that match the exact vibe you're looking for. But by far my favorite part is that you can use Ray3 Modify to completely change the look of a clip, creating a strong wow factor that helps your edit stand out and get more views. For anime editors especially, this is a game changer. We're not longer limited by the clips that exist in the show. The Dream Machine from Luma gives you the creative freedom to bring your ideas to life exactly how you imagined them. So if you want to try Luma AI for yourself, scan the QR code on screen or click on the first link in the description. Now let's talk about something that instantly separates clean edits from average ones: flow. Flow doesn't mean flashy transitions or crazy effects. It simply means one clip flows into the next naturally and seamlessly. The best edits feel smooth because the motion never breaks. A punch continues into the next shot, a camera pan carries over, a character's movement finishes when the next clip begins. When the motion flows, the edit feels intentional. When it doesn't, the viewer feels every single cut, even if they can't explain why. Here's how I actually find clips that flow. Before I even start placing anything on my timeline, I gather as many usable clips as possible. Then I go through them and try to find clips that could naturally continue the same movement. When I find those, I group them together. If you're struggling, a really useful tip is to reverse your clip. For example, if you have one clip where the camera is zooming out and another where the camera is zooming in, by reversing one of them, both clips will move in the same direction. And you can even reverse just the end of the clip to create movement that flows into the next one. Once I've found multiple clips that flow, or what editors call links, I decide the order based on what makes the most sense visually. And if I ever get stuck finding links, I watch other edits on the same anime or character, because you'll oftentimes notice a few links that you haven't thought about before. After you've chosen your clips, there's an easy way to test if they flow. Play the edit before adding any transitions, shakes, or effects. If it already feels smooth, you're on the right track. If it feels choppy and you can't clearly imagine how you can fix that using a creative transition or effect, then those clips do not belong together. Now I know this takes time, especially in the beginning, but your eye for flow will improve over time. And it's one of the most useful skills an editor can have, because edits with good flow feel smoother, more professional, and way easier to watch. If you want this broken down step by step, check out my editing academy. I walk you through my full editing process. You get access to a community of editors who are also trying to improve, and you can even ask me directly for feedback on your edit, so you know exactly what to fix instead of guessing. If you're serious about leveling up faster, check out my editing academy. The link will be in the description. Now, good clips alone aren't enough. life. This is where most edits fall short. They look cool, but they feel empty. A lot of editors just focus on the visuals, flashy effects, shakes, transitions, but there's no story, no intention, just a bunch of cool clips stitched together. The edits that actually hit are about something. Maybe it's a story of a character or a specific theme. It can literally be anything. I even recently saw an edit where the entire theme was Geometry Dash. Yes, that one game with a square, and it did really well. Not because it was random, but because the viewer could immediately understand what the edit was about. When there is a clear theme or story, the edit becomes way easier to follow because it's not longer just a bunch of random cool clips with a song. It feels intentional. And once you start editing with intention instead of just stacking effects, your edits will feel more memorable and way more meaningful. And now, for the final piece, I want you guys to watch these two edits and try to figure out what is the difference between them. If you guess sound effects, you're correct. As you could probably tell, sound effects make a huge difference. Not only they add more impact, but they also massively improve immersion. The reason is simple. When you see a character throw a punch, but you don't hear it, your brain notices, and that disconnect breaks the immersion from the edit. A good exercise I do when I work on my sound effects is going clip by clip and asking myself, what would this sound like if it happened in real life? Then add that sound. Sometimes you can just use the sound effects from the original clip, but because anime clips often have background music that will clash with your song, it's often better to find clean sound effects and layer them yourself. Beyond just realistic sounds, you can take your sound design to the next level by adding sound effects that enhance the moment. Things like whooshes, build-ups, and impacts. These help guide the viewer's attention, signal important moments, and add weight to the edit. Once you do this consistently, your edit will feel complete because even great visuals can feel empty without sound design. But before you start spamming sound effects, you also don't want to overdo it. Too often I see editors who spam way too many sound effects or just make them too loud. Remember this, good sound design is subtle. Most people shouldn't notice it consciously, and it should never overpower the song because that's the fastest way to ruin your edits. Once you put all these pieces together, flow, story, and sound design, your edits will go to the next level. I hope you found this video helpful. Comment what other videos you want me to make, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.